Hey guys, welcome back to another futures trading session recap and analysis. As always, we are using the Polarity Automated Trading Interface and the Analytica Chart 3. The objective of this trading session was to capture some really quick 3-point scalps during the last hour of the market. You can see on the right side panel that the strategy is completely armed and enabled in its default mode, trend mode. With the strategy enabled, it's now going to be searching for a high efficiency entry where it's going to place an order for us and try and get us a really high probability trade. And you can see right here, we got our first fill of the day, which is a short trade. We don't choose the direction of the trade or the timing in which we get filled. Once we have the strategy enabled, it's going to continuously search and it's going to do that all by itself, as well as placing our exits, which is that red and green line respectively, with our green line being our take profit and our red line being our stop loss. And pretty quickly, because it's the last hour where volatility has picked back up, price is making its way down to our take profit very quickly. You can also see that huge wave of aggressive sellers highlighted by those stacked 4 orange numbers there, right at that automatically marked red support line, which is exactly what we need to get filled in this condition. We have to push through that previously marked absorption area for us to hit our take profit. And you can see there that it happened pretty quickly. In just less than a 0.1% of a move, because this is trading futures, we netted $875.52. And that's exactly why I love futures trading. It offers more leverage than options without any of the slippage. The slippage on futures is the lowest that you can get. It's actually lower than trading the S&P 500 itself. You can see here that we're waiting to turn on the strategy again, as we want to be above or clearly below that red support line that we have already marked. We don't want to get caught in chop, especially in trend mode. If this was an area where we wanted to be in regression mode, it wouldn't necessarily matter. Regression mode is more like shooting fish in a barrel. You're going to have the strategy armed a lot more of the time while you're in that mode. You're going to have the system take more of the decisions for you than when you're in trend. Trend is more precise and you have to have a little bit more manual intervention to ensure that you're not getting any silly fake outs. However, it's pretty easy to avoid if you have just a general amount of knowledge on where price is going at the current time. All right, and here is that second fill of the day. And because this is the last hour of the day, instead of the first 30 minutes at market open, volatility is going to be a little bit less and there's going to be less order flow imbalances. Basically, this means that our trades are going to take a little bit longer to both get into and out of. You can see that when we trade the market open like we did in our previous live streams that we've been doing, which if you haven't checked out, I highly suggest turning on notifications and checking me out trading this strategy in real time. We are trading the market open. In this video, we're trading the market close at the last hour of the market, which is power hour. There is still some really good volatility during this time and it's very predictable, but there's definitely going to be less trades. As you can see here, there's a lot of time passing from when that trade is closed with the strategy enabled without getting us into any trades. And right as I say that, we actually do get filled into a short position there. So this is obviously a stark difference than when we're trading the market open, which is by far the most volatile time of the day. I personally know for a lot of trading strategies, you usually want to avoid the first opening chop essentially, but what I actually really enjoy doing is trading that first opening chop, because remember, we're not really trading off of price action. We're not looking for patterns to trade off of. What we are doing is taking the raw order flow data and using our strategy to automatically take trades based off of that. And during the market open, because there aren't a lot of other factors that are driving people to commit into a position or not, that data is really powerful for giving us an edge when we're trying to look for a trade. But when you're starting out with trading in general, I would suggest staying away from the first opening 30 minutes just because of how difficult it is to trade traditionally. So if you're not trading order flow, I highly suggest staying away from that. Also, you'll see here that this is our first losing trade of the day. We didn't really do anything wrong, but you do get stopped out sometimes, and that's just how it is. What's important is that we are trading off of our expected value of each trade. We statistically know that over a course of a large group of trades, we are always going to have a profitable total amount of trades. That adds up to a higher amount than the total amount of losses in that group of trades. There's two ways to do that. One of them is by increasing your win rate, and the other is by skewing your RR in the reward direction. In this case, we're actually not going to be touching our RR. We're leaving that on 1.0, but we're instead having a really high win rate. So we're going that route. I know a lot of people like the 3-to-1 RR, but I actually find that a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio is a lot less mentally taxing in terms of being able to consistently execute at your top performance as a trader. Because the mentality as a trader is very, very important. You can see that when you're getting these 3-to-1 RR trades, you often do get a lot of streaks of losses and then one gain. Now, you do end up being maybe net zero at that point, but the mental aspect of being wrong that many times, it personally has a taxing effect on me. So I actually like to stay with a 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio because I'm very obviously able to maintain a high win rate with a lot of streaky wins and low amount of clustered losses. And you can see here, after we lost that trade, we switched it into regression mode to try and take advantage of a possible range. When we lost that trade, it actually ended the trend of downward movement. You can see by that blue line that's been kind of following the trading area, that's actually not a moving average, that is a reverse RSI. So this is at the lower band of it already, and it's just been following that continuously. However, when we lost that trade, that did signal that that traditional trending movement has been broken. So we're now going to be switching into regression there. You can see here that that trade does end up filling pretty nicely, as well as us getting a very strong signal in regards to entropy there. So now we've seen entropy shift from being very low to very high. Basically what this means is that delta and price have now lost their correlation, which is confirming that we've made the correct choice to stay in regression, and we're going to continue being inside of that mode for future trades, at least until we get some kind of indication otherwise. So you can see there that we're going to be arming both, and we get filled into another trade there in regression mode. Now, this time that trade was long. Sadly, this does end up being our last trade of the day, since the market is closing from about a minute from where the current bar is. Now, $2,500 in one session isn't necessarily the greatest I've ever done compared to, let's say, my $9,000 live streaming session that we did last week, but I would say that was a pretty good session for Power Hour. It's common nature that there's going to be less trades during this last hour, but we were able to take advantage of them pretty well. Also, guys, I highly encourage you to turn on notifications if you are interested in seeing me trade live. I'm starting to do this weekly now, where I'm going to live stream at probably market open generally, where you're going to see me taking trades. I'm not going to have commentary just yet or chat, but we're going to get there eventually. But as I'm starting this, I want to give you guys an idea of maybe a more raw and trustful view of how I'm taking my trading decisions. You're seeing it in all real time. You're going to see my mistakes, you're going to see my wins, and all that. I'm going to start also doing recap and analysis videos of those live streams. Unfortunately, I actually can't figure out how to download my live stream recap, so I won't be able to do analysis videos on the last 2 live streams I've done. However, from the future, I'm going to record them directly as I'm live streaming, so I'll have the raw video footage to work with in that manner. So if you're interested in any of that, let me know down below, or if you guys want me to continue having those 2 kind of things separate, let me know what you think. Anyway, guys, I hope you've all had a wonderful week with your family, and I'll see you guys very shortly.